Hello, Aries, to your timeless love variant reading where we discuss however love may be absent or present in your life. Please bear in mind a few things before we get into the reading that I am Master 7th, aka 7th, that reads these energies for you. I'm a master healer. Should you want to know what she is, who she's all about, what she offers, there's a link in the description box to give you more detail. I'm also offering digital punch cards should you want to sign up for one. That means upon selection, within 30 days, you have an opportunity to purchase wellness drops or single card messages on 10th service. You get a healing read from me. So check that out if that's something that's interesting for you. Below, you'll also find ways to navigate this channel, as well as access to my sister channel if you're in search of emotional redemption or trying to figure out if you are. All my content is timeless. Should you catch a vibe with any of them, there may be something there for you. As all readings that are collective, this is not a one-on-one, so bear in mind to take the messages as they may resonate. And feminine and masculine energies are non-gender specific, so use your discernment wisely, especially if you're not going to make that one-on-one. You're having the opportunity to do the one-on-one with yourself, and that's exactly what it all is anyway. This reading, Aries, will offer you universal justice should Aries be a sign indicative in your sun, rising, and or Jupiter position anywhere else. This channel advises you to check out my sister channel for you may be in search of emotional redemption and just don't know it yet. Alright, Aries, let's see what's going on. Oh, taking these. Starting off with the Queen of Swords energy, and air element is in the bubble of your universe of understanding. Alright, possible resonancy. The alchemy is air and magic. It's about staying grounded within the element of taking a breath. This isn't about necessarily worshiping breath. This is more returning into that of which makes you what it is that you are. Okay, you can't pulsate, you can't feel, you can't see, you can't become without bringing oxygen to it. So it's important to feel mighty within that consciousness of taking a breath. Okay, not everything has to be ritualized. I think when somebody becomes in that groundedness of breath, you yourself become feeling like you're majestic and a giant in that moment. And I think that's more like a Pikachu Pokemon energy, you know, like getting that inner inertia pumping and rejuvenating. And I think it speaks on to a lot of your character. That you either more or less, I think, learning to navigate and how to have fruitful relationships with not only yourself and with other people. And just making sure that, you know, if someone comes to you for an answer, that you deliver the best version of the truth that you have to offer, with all the measurements of honesty that can uphold your character. I think you're also not just necessarily wanting to uphold a character. I think you're going to mature further into the quality of emotional relationships, of the emotional intelligence within a relationship that requires emotional connectivity. That may be the reason why you make certain choices with yourself and for others. And then maybe there are some regrettable aspects to those decisions, which is just able to teach you that some decisions are on the more negative aspects of the emotional know-how, and the benefit of it is the consequence. And if the consequence is leaving you with more emotional upheaval, then it's important to go back to that one-on-one transaction, which is yourself. What are the options, and navigating as wisely as possible. We're all innocent to making a mistake. We're all victim of making a mistake. We're all suspect of making a mistake. There's an inevitability to the causation of the flow of life, right? So we have Four of Wands energy. So yeah, I think you're in deep desire to make amends with the deep parts of you. And some of you who are on that depthness of self-inquiry and self-acceptance have reached a desire to put a label with that of which maybe in your generation of this time have thought it was taboo to at least discuss. And now you're in a wave where you've at least been witness to that there are so many ways that people are unapologetically themselves. And we could all probably have an opinion around a table and discuss these aspects of what we see and what we perceive and what we think about that. For that person who's on that very deep desire, they're looking for spiritual upheaval, spiritual retribution, resurrection. They want to forgive the ones that they've hurt. They want to forgive the ones that they've felt burdened by. They want to seek closure. And then there's people who are like in the middle of the wave, who are content with their life, materialistically especially. And this wave is about making sure everyone is inclusive in a general area of people meeting together, whoever these people are within a room or an outside setting, a gathering of more than two people. This person, Aries energy, Queen Swords energy, wants to bring all these people together, and there's a unanimous form of like romanticizing family traditions and family play, like activities, and just the extroverted energy to what Aries can provide in being themselves and what you offer in being yourself to other people, that is intoxicating for other people, and they can't just not show up, right? And then you have the people on top of that who are kind of like buoy on top of that eyesight. They know what's going on in the depth of the situation, and they understand this longing, and they understand the middle ground of like wanting to put people together. And you can almost feel it within the reading that this person is no threat, but the irony of this person is that this person is actually a threat. The person who is at that level of a buoy is afraid to go down in the depthness in the middle ground of what is also there to explore. And that is unfortunate to accepting the whole spectrum of the quantum magic that happens with duality of feminine and masculine running around together in parallel forms at all fucking times, whether it's an acknowledgement of yourself, of the two halves that you are, and it maneuvering somewhere, or if it's the duality of a relationship of one-on-one externally of you, a romantic partner or family or relative or some kind, someone outside of you, whether how that flows. There is a one-on-one variable that kind of keeps certain things possible to be something, and then if it sustains itself in a certain way, it may or may not become sustainable, and depending on what feeds it, right? And this person that's on the surface level of that can have very intellectual conversations, sees things from a higher point of elevated possibilities, is a thinker. However, they're a threat to you at this time, because this person who is the threat in this narrative, the Queen of Swords energy, is maybe why you're here, wanting to justify the broken parts of who you are. Maybe having a conversation with an individual of that accord would mean that they have you thinking so much about your own existence that you feel lost in all of a sudden not being able to make a decision because this person just introduced you to something else, and you're like, wait, that just fucked up everything that I thought I knew. And that's how that person is a threat. A person who speaks of a groundedness can deliver themselves and leave no parts within you broken. And that's the quest to figure out who in the life viewpoint of the sun sign, rising sign of Jupiter of Aries, pays attention to on how you swim in the existence of your own bubble and what point of view you see it at any time in space. Very powerful reading. I'll take a nap. That was the moon energy. Jesus. All right, so we have the King of Pentacles, yeah. Because we're not worried about the dark side of the moon. We began saying we understand the depthness of that of which we think we don't understand. We're not afraid to show up there. We're not afraid to take it into equation. Yeah, it's something that maybe not a lot of people know that we get to, but you know, that's why I maybe show up to tarot and see who can validate that reality for me. Who the fuck knows? You don't have to explain yourself to no one, right? At the same time, that makes you so abundant into the King of Pentacles, someone who has taken a breath and grounded themselves within that breath. Someone wants to armor up, suit up, like, yeah, like, just suit up. Yeah, look at that. The Wheel of Fortune. I say that because right here, it's more like the Achilles heel kind of thing, but controversial in its way, and it's shifting and it's moving. But I'm also seeing a story unfolding. Lately I'm getting very gravitated to the empty pages on each corner of the depiction. And we all have access to being able to tell one, write one, share one, read one. All right, we have Ace of Cups and we have the Two of Cups. It's nice, it's very powerful. It's a very rejuvenating time. It's a possibility to make amends without seeking closure. That's not about accepting bullshit either, or accepting liars. Eight of Pentacles. It's about, I'm hearing the word uniformity. I'm almost seeing that I can see that as like the cliche about walking in this life. Like sometimes maybe these readings can sound complex, but at the root of it be oversimplified, and in a way it's like, well, where am I? Yet I know exactly where I am. Do you see like all these contradictions at the same time? And that's exploring a uniformity of the intellectual possibility of how feminine and masculinity work in tandem together when it comes to self-ritual and perseverance and self-preservation and self-will, anything having to do with self. And Aries is someone who's very contingent on taking care of self, because the ego of Aries is very loud. And so that's why some of the relationships of the past here have been very tumultuous in many ways. But whatever energy began the reading with the Queen of Swords energy is leaving that narrative of chaos behind and getting a sense of clarity of what it means to move forward while knowing the beat up shit of the past. See, while knowing here, the Eight of Pentacles with this little black vest. It's like protecting the ugly parts, but not being afraid to necessarily talk about it, you know, again, I'm getting a little raspy here, you know, and some of you who might be contingent on having difficulty to talk might deal with more serious seasonal sinus issues. We have the pressing moment is Five of Wands. This is a very difficult position to navigate. Yet it's also almost an opportunity to pay witness to where your energy is flowing in within itself and all the emotions that get triggered along the way and not reacting to them. Usually you can find those moments more so in like a hermit mode, an isolation of meditation, a focused consciousness of some kind. Oof. Ace of Swords. I mean, the truth is already with you. It's not about necessarily needing to now also become physical in your world and look for yoga classes, Pilates classes, guided meditation classes, or barely even needing to set time out to meditate. You'd be surprised how many times you catch yourself like dazed and you don't even realize you're meditating at that time. You know, some of you get very interesting, euphoric, maybe wisdom when you're driving and listening to music or taking a shower. You know, those moments where a lot of people are like, you know what, yeah, I'm like, that happens to me too, or I love to think and drive too, or, you know, that kind of thing. But your intelligence is with movement. Physical exertion. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Cups. So, it's not like, it might look intimidating to get through all of said emotions. Let's say if these cards are emotions, to get an understanding what this card is. Yet you don't need the whole story. Like, you don't need to see words on these pages for a story to be formed. Like, I'm also getting like some of you, I share that kind of too though. So it's interesting that it's coming up. But like those moments in class when you're like having a sheet of paper that's empty in front of you and they're telling you, all right, now draw a story based on that picture. You want me to do what now? Some of you may have liked this, some of you are like, but. Alright, let me see. Alright, tell me one card and that's it. So let's see what this is. This one card. When someone feels nauseous, try to breathe through it. Alright, this isn't about like getting anxiety that you're doing it right. Just allow your body to feel in that moment. Allow your body to feel that moment. Okay. It might make you not have to throw up again. It may force you to throw up so that way you get rid of these toxic energies. All right, Three of Candles. I can conceive nothing more I love that I can never speak on here whenever I'm reading out loud. All right, I can conceive nothing more sublimating than the strange peril and novelty of an adventure such as this. May God grant that we succeed. It's the Three of Wands energy. The last line is interesting for the ego to catch on to, which is may God grant that we succeed. Because I don't think the true message is that you need to be granted anything to be made witness of or to earn or nearly even deserve. All right, that's where it'll be left. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.